Oh, okay. Hello, Professor Kirkland. Today we're going to be teaching my friend Priscilla about Condorcet's paradox. So, Priscilla, we're going to just start off with this. The, have you ever heard of the transitive property? So, the transitive property basically just tells you that if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. So,
Okay.
like, um, so it basically just means that like when you have two, like you have an order to something, and it'll always come down to that conclusion because these other two things are equal in an order, for example. Um, so we're gonna talk about how Condorcet's paradox is involved with government, and one of the first things to know is that um, about the transitive property, and basically it starts off with like this scenario where we have like three people that want to go out to lunch, and so we have um, Sally who wants to go to a certain place, and in her idea, like she has A, like she wants to go to A first, then B, and then C. But to her, like that's just the way it's gonna be. Like if you tell her, do you want to go to B or C? She's gonna say, I want B.
Mm-hmm.
But do you want A or C? Well, I'm gonna get A, which is before B. You know that already,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, Condorcet's paradox, it just revolves around the idea that like that people have their own transitive property. People have their own transitive ideas. Like you'll probably always want to go to Forever 21 over H&M and then maybe Zara.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go maybe to Zara first and then H&M and then Forever 21. And so it's never going to be in the same order because well we think differently,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it'll be hard for us to kind of get to a conclusion. And and this is also seen kind of in like government because when there are like people with their own rational opinions, right? Like who said that Forever 21 isn't better than
Right.
H&M, right? But like we all have our different rational opinions. We just won't correlate together. And in government, the same thing happens. We have like one legislator who believes this way, and others that act a different way and believe differently. But when you put them all together, they can't come to a conclusion because maybe to them, healthcare is more important than women's birth control, right? Or maybe to another one, money is more important to them than healthcare. So just everyone has different orders of what's important to them or what's preference to them, and so getting them to come to a conclusion makes it more complicated. And so it kind of gives us this idea that like an individual with transitive properties, when mixed with others with transitive properties, comes out with an intransitive group conclusion.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how would you like say that in your own words?
So basically, you can't come to a conclusion because everyone thinks differently.
Uh-huh.
So it's important to have just that one person who makes that decision.
Awesome. See, you like jumped way further. So like in government, like we have like the Speaker of the House, and he's what they call the agenda setter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's got to like step up, or like they're assigning him to like step up and kind of decide who's gonna give their opinion first. So we just say like where does Priscilla want to go? That's what like the speaker says. Like where does Priscilla want to go? And then you're gonna say, well, I want to go to H&M over Zara. And then they're gonna say, where does Teresa want to go? Well, Teresa wants to go to Zara over Forever 21. And then they're gonna say, who wants to go to like Forever 21? And then if the majority decides over the minority, then obviously a decision's come to a conclusion. But that's because the agenda setter was the one who decided to give options first. Mm-hmm. And so that's why like in government we kind of come into this kind of part of like in conclusion kind of until an agenda setter is there to kind of guide decision making, right? And then just to kind of like tie that up, normally it wouldn't make sense, right? Normally you would say, oh well, if we all are thinking clearly, if we're all rational, then we'll all come to one conclusion,
right?
But that's what the paradox is about, that like because we all have our own rational thoughts, we can't come to a conclusion unless one leads it. Unless you just want to throw away the whole idea of democracy and just say, like, I'm a dictator, I decide where we go. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's basically what Condorcet's paradox is about. Just we need one person to kind of step up to be able to come to a conclusion for everyone. Mm-hmm. Sounds good?
Yes.
All right. Thank you.